to be bigger, but here I am.
Somebody who has first-hand experience of basically having blown up their life, take that advice. I think when it comes to men, particularly, birds of a feather flock together.
Hi, I'm Marie and welcome to OP Said podcast.
And I'm Mel and we read the most wildest Reddit and submitted stories. And I'm May.
Okay, so here we go with our first story, which comes from our Reddit OP Said pod. I love my friend, but she's a raging bitch.
Oh.
My friend, 25 female, and I, 22 female, have been friends for about 5 years. I love her to death, but there have been so many times when I have contemplated our friendship because she is just so mean and rude to others. Don't get me wrong, she's an absolute sweetheart to me and treats me as if I'm a little sister sent from heaven. But her attitude towards strangers, her family members and colleagues is just atrocious. I'm not the only one who has observed this behaviour. Some of my friends from other areas of my life have met her and begged me to cut her off because of her rude behaviour. Even my boyfriend rolls his eyes when I mention her. I just don't understand why she's like this. She's also really sensitive and I'm afraid to speak to her about her attitude because she's never wronged me personally. I've called her out about one thing before, but she didn't take accountability and argued back that I was taking things out of context. I feel like I can't talk to her because she doesn't want to self-reflect. I'm not a perfect person, but I do believe there is a reason why I'm more likable than she. Her words, not mine. I wanted to tell her, well, maybe it's because you're a bitch for no reason. I don't know what to do. I love her, but I really don't enjoy being around hateful, nasty people, even if I don't suffer from the behaviour.
I think that's a really hard one, especially if you're not a confrontational person. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? I think this is a case for ChatGPT. Like, I honestly feel that maybe use something like ChatGPT, for instance, to help you construct how to have this conversation. It is one that actually needs to be said. If you really care about this person, she said that it's one of her closest friends, she really does love, like her, etc., but she has these qualities. I think someone needs to say something, because the thing is, unfortunately, sometimes we don't know how we come across, and we would hope that those closest to us would tell us, even if we don't like it. And I know she's not easy to approach, and I have a friend like that, and I only recently found out just how hard it is to actually approach her about her. She's easy to talk to about anybody else, but just really hard to talk to about her. And the one time I did speak to her, it was painful. It was not nice, like, as in, I don't want to repeat that again. So I completely understand. However, I do think it needs to be said. So I would say speak to somebody else as to like how to address it, or if not, use platforms like ChatGPT to script it, and then say, like, pull her aside and actually say, can I say something? And you listen to me first. And this is coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a critical perspective. I love you. I don't want to change you. However, I just think there are some things that you might need to know. And because you may not be doing it on purpose. Like, if you start with that, it doesn't feel like you're attacking her. Mm-hmm. And then say what needs to be said, but remind her that you love her and you're not saying it because you're criticizing her, but because you want better for her. Mm-hmm. I would say that's the only advice I could say. Sorry, that's the only advice I have. But good luck, because honestly, I've been there. I have a friend like that, and I'm currently taking the coward's way out. I'm avoiding conversation. I'm avoiding, like, there's this one thing I need to say, but I'm literally avoiding it because I'm like, bro, the last time scarred me. It was hard to talk to this person. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, I think do what Melinda said in terms of just talking to her. But honestly, the way that you just described her, she sounds awful.
Yeah.
Like, for me, she sounds like such a toxic and terrible person to be around, that her bad qualities far outweigh her good qualities. Oh, she's sweet when she's around me, but that's it. But she's awful and terrible to everybody else. She's rude. She's nasty to be around. She has nothing good to say about anybody. No, No. I would cut her out. But that's me personally. I don't want anyone like the person OP just took the time to describe in my life.
I think, like Melinda said, it is a hard one. I think if you love your friend enough, it is a really hard conversation. I've had this conversation. I've had the conversation where it's like, I'm not going to take you around anyone else because you're a bit mad and you offend a lot. Again, it was said in a nice way. I didn't have ChatGPT. I just had to dig deep within myself. And it was a tough conversation to have, but luckily for me, my friend was quite self-aware. She knows exactly who she is, and she also knows that she shouldn't be around everyone. So it was kind of like a 50-50. It was easy, but also I felt like maybe she didn't know how badly she came across and how angry she came across. But yeah, it wasn't, I think even at the end of the conversation, it was quite, oh, thanks for telling me type of thing. So it just depends on how you drop it as well.
She said this one is like, it's hard.
No,
she's got
guys,
no...
I'm not saying it's not hard. Yeah. I'm not even...
No, but she said that she's had a conversation with her before,
but then
it just didn't go down well. Like, this person she's hard to approach. It sounds like she's really hard to approach.
Yeah.
Completely unaware. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's just rude, defensive, just like, how do you have that conversation with that type of person? Because you're talking about someone that you said your friend was self-aware and like kind of just took it as like grateful that you approached them and actually let them know, okay, cool, this is how they possibly could be coming away. But imagine someone that is not receptive like that.
But wait, I just want to go back to what Opie said. She said that her friend is not self-reflective.
Yeah.
So even though you'd find and muster all the courage to have this conversation, she won't reflect on anything that was said.
No, but
so it's almost like a pointless task.
Yes.
No. I think it needs to be told, though. It's not pointless.
Because out of this dilemma, what screamed at me is, out of everyone in her life, she's the one that she would listen to. She's the one she cares about the most. So if there's anyone that could say it, it could be her.
Yeah.
Could being the very loose word. I don't know this person. I don't know how difficult it is to be in front of her. But if she is that type of person and you hold that power, you have the power to speak to her more than anyone else. Anyone else comes to her, she might say nah. I mean, she did say no to you, but it also depends on how harsh that conversation was. And then you also have to decide if you really want her in your life. Like, sorry to say, you might love your friend, but she might not be the person that you need in your life 24/7. It might have to be, I love you from afar. Yeah, we meet up sometimes, but I can't be around you like I am all the time because the person that you are, I can't take. And that's, unfortunately, that's life. You can't be around someone that's hateful because she's going to be hateful to everyone, as she has been. And how long can you keep that up for?
And you know what? I actually had a similar situation where I have this friend and it's a guy. I've known him for years. And progressively over time, he's become so hateful towards women.
Yeah.
His rhetoric is crazy. Like, now he keeps... It's not even funny, but it is. He's calling women black-hearted. Yeah. He keeps calling women black-hearted women. And I had to think about it. It's like, he can be a really funny guy. He's smart. He can be so funny. He's got all of these really good qualities about him. But progressively over time, just everything that he says, it rubs me the wrong way. And I can't change. Well, I can change my gender, but I don't want to. I'm a woman. So sitting and listening to just how much he hates women all the time. And literally it's in every conversation. He like tries and somehow adds it in as and when he can. I just decided to walk away because I just thought about it and I just thought it's not worth it. Like, he's become so hateful. His personality is just toxic. It's terrible to be around. And I decided that it was in my best interest to just walk away. It's not worth having a conversation with him because potentially he could change. I do think he's probably more receptive than OP's friend sounds.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, I think sometimes we say things, but the answer is in what we're saying. Yeah. Right here, it says, I don't know what to do. I love her, but I really don't enjoy being around hateful, nasty people, even if I don't suffer from the behaviour. You don't like being around her. Yeah. So you have to decide whether you're going to keep being around her or not, because ultimately you're describing someone that you don't like being around, except that you love that person. So talk to her, and if that doesn't work, then you're going to have to not be around someone that is hateful towards other people, even though you don't particularly suffer from it. That's what I would say if I didn't have ChatGPT, because I had to face that conversation Basil, and I'm so glad that we have ChatGPT now, but I'm telling you, yeah.
What's sending me? She's like, I went in with no support.
I didn't.
No backup.
Because you know what it is? Like, she sounds like one of those people, everyone is going to tell you, dump her. She's horrible. She hasn't got support from anywhere. So you're writing into us, and I'm telling you, I couldn't even do that. I just had to be like, girl, this is crazy. What is going on? But again, but with me, it wasn't even what you're describing. That wasn't my situation at all. I just felt she was a bit rowdy. I thought she was angry. I think my issue was that I felt like she was quite angry, and that was it. So, well, not it, but that was my issue, rather than her being nasty to everyone else. I don't think I ever had that. But yeah, girl, you're gonna have to go in. But it's everything that you said. It's in here. You don't like the person, you love her. You don't like her, but you love her. That's what I'm reading.
But that's why I say, if you really love her, she should have that conversation, because there may be deeper things at play that she is unaware of.
For sure.
Like there may be, she might be in crisis, like she might be going through something really traumatic, or just something that she's never ever dealt with, like whether it's childhood, relationships, with whether it's parents, partners, whatever it may be.
Any of that, I know that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would assume. Just now, I don't know, I guess having some understanding of other people's situations and just experience, I would say, tells me that it's often stems from something deeper.
Yeah.
But I think because we often react to reactions as opposed to understanding the cause or being aware of the cause, sometimes we get so offended, but it's because we need to have conversations about the root cause of why you're reacting this way. And that's why I'm saying that if she really loves her, and it sounds like she does, it sounds like she really does care about this friend, even though she might be really hard to approach, I would say carve out some space and actually ask her, can you please, like literally without even arguing, do you mind just listening to this? And I'm saying this with love because I care for you, like, and ... and say whatever it is that she needs to say. But hopefully, I think someone needs to say it, because most people don't understand how they're coming across. And because of the fact that she's so hateful and critical and just nasty, she's blocking her own blessings, her own opportunities. Like, do you know that? You know, like someone gets only one, like you only get a first impression, right? Mm-hmm. And if the first impression is
you only get one first impression is a sentence.
You only get one first impression. If the first impression is negative, most people don't continue to interact, right? And God, she might have lost jobs, she might have lost opportunities, she might have lost connections, networks, contacts because of how she is. So I think someone should say something.
I don't think there's a might. I think she definitely did.
I would assume so, but I don't know.
For every time that she was nasty and rude to somebody else, that then created a domino effect.
I would assume so for sure. But yeah, I think one person should always be able to pull someone aside. Does that make sense? Like there should be someone there should be one person in everybody's life that can approach them with the difficult conversations. Mm-hmm. Do you get? Otherwise, you are literally an unreasonable person.
Do you know what? Kind of like an accountability partner.
Yeah.
But for just general behavior, good behavior.
Yeah. Like I would think I'm approachable. I'd hope anyone can approach me about anything. But worst case scenario, May can always approach me. Whether I'm upset, down, in the most foulest of moods, May can always approach me. And I think you should be able to have one person in your life that can have honest, difficult conversations with you.
I agree.
Depends if you want to be that person. That's another thing as well. If you don't want to be that person, then walk away. But if you do want to be that person and you love her so much, then please speak to her.
I read something yesterday on TikTok, and this is one of the reasons why I'm giving the advice that I'm giving. It said that how the older you get, grace is something that most adults don't have. Yeah. And it's something that we should really start giving our friends and our families.
I think I give everyone grace.
Yeah, I don't think I give everyone grace. Not everyone is deserving of grace.
No. But, my friends. I mean.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
just
good.
Just my friends.
Yeah. But so this post was mainly about friendships and just adult friendships specifically, that the older you get, you should try and give your friends grace, because you never know what they're going through. And when they start to maybe, I guess, check out, like you haven't heard from them in a long time, they're no longer around, they no longer want to go out, they no longer, I don't know, pick up the phone to you, contact you as much. Try to give them grace. And it said, and this what I found was really key, it said check in, don't check out. And I really like that message, and I think it's something that we do need to do. I think especially the older you get, like we have so many different priorities, and also a lack of information, being, for instance, what your friends and family are going through, sometimes makes you assume the worst. And because of assumptions, you can start cutting off people just because they're no longer there. They're no longer behaving the way they used to. So for instance, there might have been that caring friend, but now like, oh, you had a baby and they only said congratulations, they haven't checked in or whatever, but you just don't know what is going on in their life. But instead of saying, oh yeah, we no longer talk or whatever, like check in. I like it,
but no, I won't be checking in.
No, I think it depends. It depends on who that person is, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely depends. If you guys checked out, I'll be at your door, so that's out. If my other friend checked out, know where she lives too. And every single one of them, I'll be like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Everything okay? And then I'll give it a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years, and then I'll be out.
Yeah. But you do know that's you giving grace, though.
No, that's what I said to my friends.
Yeah.
But if our whole relationship has been me giving grace.
No. I think you're only as good as your history, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if someone's always been selfish, like, you're not going to give a selfish person grace, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, time and time again, this person has a history of just being self-centered, selfish, only thinking about themselves. So no, you wouldn't give that person grace. But a person that has always been kind, generous with their time, like with their efforts, and especially that's made an effort for you in your relationship, or your friendship, because it might be a partner, you give that person grace.
I think when you love someone, you naturally give them grace. And I think when someone's been good to you as well, you do give them like a certain amount of grace.
Yeah.
I'm bored of all of this stuff, mate. I think people should actually lose people so they can fix up, look sharp. I'm bored of it. I think adults need to behave like adults, communicate, open your mouth and communicate. Because when it was a boyfriend, you communicated. When it was like, people are picking and choosing how they're communicating. It's pissing me off. And they're using everything as excuses when it could just be, I'm having a hard time, I need some time. That's as easy as it can be.
Yeah.
But people make it difficult. And it's not because you can't open your mouth, because I guarantee if it was a dick, they would talk.
I think people have priorities.
And some priorities are men. Like I know some people, I've had some friends where it's, oh my God, life is so hard. But for the men,
I know. They're doing the most.
About up and down. All of a sudden, all the illnesses they've had, they can walk, they can run, they can jump. Yeah. But as soon as it's a friend, it's like, I just don't want it. Get out of here with all that, man. No, so, sure. I completely agree with what you're saying. But I'm like, everyone just wants to come on the internet and yap. Please.
Oh, no. Okay, so the next story is from Cheating Stories. I found evidence that my husband just cheated with a prostitute. We have an 8-month-old baby. Need advice. My husband was on a golf trip and we worked together, so I had to get on his computer early in the morning. There were messages from his friends saying, get out here. They're here at 2 a.m. His one friend is divorced and loves hookers, so immediately my mind went to this. They were out in the country with nothing else to do. I immediately called and accused him of all of it. He blew up and then flipped the script and started calling me crazy. A classic tale of his hand, guilty. He's making me feel terrible for questioning his loyalty, which, to be fair, he is a wonderful man and father, and his behaviour is so unlike anything from him. I did more digging and found a payment for $400 at 2:30 to his idiot friend with him. Then I found a missed call number on his FaceTime, so I called it, and it was a madam who confirmed she had hookers available. I have not confronted him with the payment and phone call evidence just yet. I'm waiting to bring that into our therapy session to help me. What do I do? Can I work through this? Can I forgive? I don't want to be a single mum, but I don't know if I can have trust ever again. There is an update.
I don't want to be a single mum. You're on your way. Yeah. I don't want to be bigger, but here I am. So, sometimes life happens. You have to work to get to where you want to.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be a single mum, but I do think that she has all the evidence to suggest that her husband was cheating with a prostitute. Yeah. And That means that unless you want to work on the marriage, you'll likely be a single mum.
The end.
Okay, update. When he got home from the trip, he confessed to seeing hookers. The whole time he was on the trip, he was flipping the script. He said they were bumble girls for his single, hooker-loving friend. I'm grateful he came clean, but I'm still apprehensive about the truth. He said they were gross, big, fat strippers, and that this all was a joke. They were laughing at his idiot friend enjoying himself. He said the payment to his friend was because his friend is broke, and basically everyone fronted the cost of his golf trip for the broke divorced clown. He also said he doesn't know how the madame's number showed a missed call on his phone. There were no outgoing calls, which makes me think he gave his number to one of the women, but he claims his friend must have done it. He blew up on me because he got defensive, and all of his friends made him swear to take this to the grave. We start therapy on Wednesday, and I'm praying for all of the truth to come out. I still don't know what to do, and every time I look at my son, I cry.
Oh, for sure, he cheated. But do you want to stay? That's it. That's the only question you need to ask yourself. Do you want to forgive him this time and see how it goes, or do you want to divorce him? And it seems like the first option is what you want. So keep crying.
Not the keep crying.
No, because do you know what? She doesn't.
Yeah.
You can definitely delete the outgoing calls. Sorry. So he could have cheated, or at least he put himself in a very compromising position that has led for you to feel this way. You just need to decide whether it's worth a divorce or not. This one here, it's not really one I can be like, oh, you need to leave him or whatever. I think you need to leave him, but you don't want to leave him. In the style of writing, I can tell she doesn't want to leave. Everything about it screams, I'm staying.
Yeah.
So I would never tell anyone that's in that mindset to leave. I would just say, well, go to therapy and work it out, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, just do the work in therapy. It's clear as day she does not want to leave this man. Yeah. She does not want to be a single mum. I think she needs to stop looking at her son and crying, though. But outside of that, just do the work. That's it. He clearly cheated. He clearly is lying. You know this. He knows this. But because you don't want to be a single mum, just swallow that. Take that. I don't know. Go talk to somebody else about it, i.e. the counsellor. And that's it.
Do the work. Hopefully by the end of it, you have a wake-up call and you're like, I'm divorcing this motherfucker. But the work has to happen on your own, within yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think that he's probably... Two things can either happen. Either he's going to get to the counselling session and admit that he did, in fact, sleep with a hooker, and then she just needs to learn to accept that, or he just goes there and lies and continues with the story, and then she needs to accept that she knows deep down that he's lying, but for the sake of their marriage, they swore in front of everybody to love and till the day that they die. She doesn't want to be a single mum. She just needs to swallow that. Either way, swallow the truth and stay in the relationship. That's it.
Okay, so I think when it comes to men, particularly, birds of a feather flock together. So I honestly think that man did cheat, and he also has been partaking in hookers and prostitution, just like his close friend, his idiot friend. Men tend to be in the same stuff. Especially if they regularly interact with a certain individual, certain group of friends. That's what they like to do together. You know, some men play poker regularly with their mates. They're playing poker together. If they're always meeting up with a friend that's into something, trust and believe, shortly, if not at that very moment, they're into whatever it is that person's into. So I think this woman knows the truth. She's actually got evidence of the truth as well. He's actually admitted to her as well as the missed call. She knows what the truth is, but you know what this woman is? She's in denial, and she is hoping for a miracle, and that miracle being, no, she is. And I think she knows it herself. That's why she's sitting there looking at her son and crying and saying that she doesn't want to be a single mum. But the truth of the matter is that she knows her husband did this, and she's now hoping for further truth in their therapy session. However, she's also hoping that he'll grovel and apologise and say it was all his friend's fault. That's what she's hoping. It sounds like she's very delusional, and she basically doesn't want to leave the marriage. So she's hoping at the very least he'll tell the truth, but he'll also apologise for it. And then that way she can stay in the marriage and say that at least he was sorry, he apologized, and he also said that it will be the last time that he does it. So but she knows the truth. She does know the truth, but she's not leaving.
She's essentially looking for it's justification to stay.
Yeah, she is, and that's why she's saying that she will go to therapy.
Writing means she wants to stay.
Exactly. That's why I'm with you. But one thing I have noticed recently is that birds of a feather really do flock together, especially when it comes to guys. Like if your partner's best friend is a gambler and he regularly spends time with that gambler friend, I'm telling you, your man is into that as well. Like most of them, unless it's like their relative and they see them once a year or every other, do you know what I mean? Like every few months or so, then that's not really what they're on. But if they're regularly spending time with this person, they're into the same stuff. So this friend that he's often with that loves hookers, your husband likes that too. And you know it. And she's hoping they get to therapy. And I'm telling you, hoping that he apologizes and cries and begs for them to stay together. Top comment, a hooker. After everything you went through, giving birth and postpartum, call a lawyer and leave skid marks. Skid marks is wild.
Okay, so I have a story from our Reddit pod. Am I the asshole for not letting my past partner's family see their grandchildren? I, 29 female, lost my partner, 37 male, recently. We lived together in his home for around 7 years, raising our 3 kids there. Throughout our relationship, I worked 2 jobs while he struggled with alcoholism. It was incredibly hard having children back to back, going through postpartum, working long hours, and coming home to an alcoholic partner who didn't help with anything. When he eventually passed away from his addiction, it shattered me. But what followed was even worse. After his passing, his family spread rumours and gossip about me. They kicked me and the children out of the home, rummaged through all of our belongings, and when they finally handed me the keys back, it was only so I could collect the children's clothes. Oh. When I entered, the home looked like he never even lived there. They had taken everything, down to his socks, all the things I had bought him over the years, from name brand clothes to gifts I gave him out of love, were gone. I wasn't even angry about the material loss. What broke me was the disrespect and the erasure of our life together. They also took his phone, and from what I've been told, they found things that discredited me, possibly even recordings from our arguments, and used them to spread lies. I don't know the full story, but I can't ask him for answers. Despite all this, I initially allowed them to see the children whenever they wanted, because I understood everyone was grieving. During that time, though, their visits were selective and unfair. There are 3 children, and the family would only want to spend time with 2 of them, sometimes favouring just one child over the other. They didn't pay attention to the youngest, who was only 6 months old. They would do fun things with the eldest while leaving out the rest. I'm not a psychologist, but I believe this could be psychologically traumatizing for the children, especially the one left out. 7 months later, I found out from one of my late partner's close friends that his family had been trying to take me to court to get custody of the children. That broke me all over again. I had been rebuilding my life from scratch, working multiple jobs, going back to school and doing everything on my own. Meanwhile, they were spreading disgusting rumours that I wasn't taking care of the kids, or even worse, that I wanted my partner to die. They erased my role in his life and in his death, even though I was the one who took care of him during his final days, feeding him, grooming him, helping him with his daily needs. At his memorial, they acted as if I didn't exist. Everyone wore shirts with his picture on them, except me. I was completely excluded. It was humiliating and painful. Now, I've completely cut contact with them. I don't allow them to see the children because I fear what they might say or do to them. If they could manipulate grown adults with lies, I can only imagine what they could do to my children. Yep. I'm doing this to protect them, not to punish anyone. But lately, they've started showing up uninvited to special events like the children's birthdays. I've actually watched through the window and seen them telling the children to ask me if they can go visit the grandparents. Of course, this riles the kids up. They get excited, emotional, and then I'm left to be the one who says no. Afterward, I'm the bad guy. My kids cry, yell, and get mad at me for not letting them go. It's heartbreaking. The most recent incident was when one of their young cousins only 7 years old, called my phone and left a voicemail asking if the children could come visit. It felt like yet another form of emotional manipulation, using the kids to guilt me into reopening that door. For context, lawyers are involved in estate matters regarding the children. Because my partner died without a will, the children inherit his estate by default through the government. I don't receive anything unless I pursue it through the courts. Honestly, I've chosen not to. I'd rather they keep everything and I rebuild my life independently, keeping my peace without ever having to see them again. Deep down, my intuition keeps telling me to stay away, that this isn't safe or healthy. My decision to restrict contact is about protecting my children from emotional harm, favoritism, and manipulation, as well as protecting my own well-being. But it's weighing heavily on me because I know my children love their grandparents and I hate seeing them hurt. So, am I the asshole for keeping my children away from their father's family, even though I know they love them and it breaks my heart to see them cry?
Keep those kids away from that family. If you can, move, and also get therapy for yourself on how to navigate this situation a bit better. I think you're doing it all by yourself. You don't have any guidance. And with situations like this, it's so sensitive. You do need to learn how to navigate and also express yourself to your kids in a way that they can understand. So either family counseling with your kids and therapy by yourself, but definitely therapy for you. I think you need to navigate his death as well, like how process what he may have said to the family, or just deal with that part, because that part sounds quite messy. And also when it comes to the grandparent, I wouldn't have my kids around people that talk badly about me.
Exactly.
That's a no-go ever in life. Once they're old enough, if they want to go and see their grandparents, but whilst they're in my care, if I do not get along with your grandparents, you're not seeing that side of the family. It is what it is, because not everything that you've described is quite toxic and bad for your kids anyway. But also the fact that they are evil to you. You don't even have a little something from your partner. They took everything.
Yeah.
Being that you were the breadwinner, this is all crazy. So yeah, I would move. Country, state, wherever you are, I will move far, 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 far away, so that they can't just crash birthdays. They can't. You can voicemail me all you want and change that number, girl.
I agree with everything Marie said. I would also say, but which will probably be part of the therapy that Marie suggested, but I would also suggest having a conversation with your kids to OP. I feel like she can move, she can do all the steps that Marie included. However, I think she needs to have one clear discussion with her kids to tell them what the state of play currently is. Being that her partner's family don't like her and they're bad mouthing her because they keep on interacting with these people without having said knowledge. And I think if OP is a good mother, loves and takes care of her kids, that they would love her enough not to want to interact with people that do her harm and bad and, just aren't any good to her, like do her harm through their words, through their actions, and wanting to spread lies and wanting just to spread like complete negativity about her and her past relationship with their dad. That's what I would say. I feel like that piece is really missing because it's like she's listed all the stuff that they've done and it all sounds bad. It sounds like they're really terrible people, and that's why I would definitely say she's not the asshole to want to protect her kids from interacting with that family. But the kids need to know why, because otherwise they are open and very susceptible to also being manipulated by said family. It's easy because now, like, their cousin calls them, invites them to their birthday party, and then they're around that family again. And now they're listening to people badmouth their mum, and they're going to slowly, it may not be that day, but they're going to slowly take it in. And after a while, they're going to start listening to it. After a while, it's when they're having arguments with their mum, they're also going to say, yeah, that's right, even auntie, uncle, they've always said, everybody believes this. Like, she has to have a conversation. And I know it's a tough one. I don't know how old her kids are, but she needs to do that. And I feel like parents always forget that step. Like they'll take every other step other than communicate with their kids because they think that certain conversations are for adults. No, like I think a lot of parents don't protect their kids from toxic family members because of those conversations. Instead of them to say, sorry, this uncle or this aunt is not a good person, they lie, they steal, all the rest of it, they'll just say, oh yeah, no, we're not going to that person's house, with no explanation. But then because the kid doesn't have the entire understanding of the situation, the parent looks crazy, the parent looks unreasonable, the parent looks unfair, like, oh no, but why can't I go and see my cousins, like why can't I? So what she's missing is just that piece. Talk to your kids so that they understand and that and you're on the same page. Like they'll understand why you're no longer spending time with the grandparents, why you can't.
Yeah, I completely agree in terms of the therapy. Moving is a must.
Absolutely.
Because
and changing that number.
Changing the number. I think changing the number is the first thing that you do. It's just restricting, limiting, just reducing that point of contact. And then it's moving. It's inconvenient, but it stops the random, uninvited stops the random drop-ins that they're doing. So I think that's definitely necessary. And that conversation, you're right, because
so many parents do that.
I was reading an article about parents having tough conversations with their kids and just how important the conversations were through therapy, learning how to say the same thing but to a child at the age of 4 versus
that's why
at the age of 10.
Having group therapy, because I feel like those conversations will help navigate that, because she doesn't sound like she has it all. She's still grieving.
Exactly. And you're right, she is like a one-woman machine. So she just needs the support of another adult, and even if that's just the therapist, that's a start. It has to be a start. So yeah, I definitely think so. But what she said about if they can manipulate adults,
it's true,
what can they do to kids? That was the most important sentence for me in this whole story.
Same.
Because she's been able to basically list how badly they've treated her since her partner died. And if they can do that when she's not around, and they've gone on to spread lies about her, when she's not around, what would they be saying to the kids? What influence would they have?
When you were reading that story, I was like, they're capable of kidnapping those kids.
It's true.
And they'll have, because they're building a case behind her back, it's so easy, correct me if I'm wrong, that she can come home to pick them up one day and they'll be like, we have full custody of them, because they've been doing it behind her back. They seem like snaky people.
I think it's dangerous.
That's the right word.
It's actually dangerous.
I think what you both said is completely accurate. What you both said is completely true. I'm now actually quite scared of just how they're moving, just like utilizing different members of the family as well. Using a child to send a voice message, turning up randomly and saying, oh, can they go to grandparents? Building a custody case against Opie. This is mad.
But I'm really confused about a lot of about what's occurring, because she said she was working how many jobs, she's the main breadwinner, while this partner that passed was fighting alcoholic demons. So okay, this man has now passed. So but why?
No, but sorry, it's making me laugh because alcoholic demons.
They're demonic, honestly. But at the same time, his family, it sounds like, weren't involved. So whilst they were together and she's here being with him, trying to console him during the entire relationship, it doesn't sound like they were much involved in his life.
They weren't.
So it's like, but now that he's dead, like they're trying to almost, as you said, potentially like kidnap these kids and like spin a tale of lies, of betrayal, of negativity. But wait a sec, but this is where I'm confused. I'm like, but wait a sec, is it because, and what we don't know, that family's got money? Because I always think,
you keep saying breadwinner, but at no point did it say
family must have money.
Just said that she worked long hours. She could have the career that she has, and that requires long hours. But that doesn't mean she's a breadwinner. I bet that
family's got money.
That's what I think it is.
Honestly, I swear down, like, I think everything comes down to money. In this life, I'm telling you, money is always like a big factor in everything. I'm telling you, I bet it's because they have money. And
that's why I was confused about the comment about the estate.
Yeah, because I'm like, what kind of estate must he have?
Yeah, what
because she said
for the
she
kids?
was busy trying to like keep their family together, and he was fighting his battle with alcoholism. So that's what I'm like, he must have money, because now you're talking about an estate. Now you're talking about how they're whispering things into the kid's ear. It's because they don't want her to have access to his money.
I
swear to God, I think it's that.
It is. I think she's just working as a normal person. I don't think anywhere within here does it suggest that she was actually the breadwinner. She said she lived in her husband's home.
Yeah.
So that means despite his alcohol, and that's what I clocked from the very sentence, despite his alcoholism, he had a home. He maintained a home. He wasn't losing a home. In the 7 years they were together, he was an alcoholic through and through.
Yeah.
So, and also, because even the bit where she said that they kicked her out and then they finally gave her the key, but just to take the clothes.
Yeah.
Her clothes, like, who does that? How have they got that power?
Yeah.
If that was their marital or relationship.
The TH, not a D.
Yeah, but it was their home, right? So it's like, how has his family got access to that? So I'm like, she needs to protect herself in all of this, honestly. Like the therapy, the moving, the changing numbers. What she really needs to do is protect herself and her kids from their control, their manipulation at every level. So emotional, especially when it comes to kids. But also she needs to protect herself from them taking control of their kids.
So also one thing she needs to do is get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer so that lawyer can handle the estate. Like that's going to happen anyway. He died, so it does go instantly to his kids.
Yeah.
But get a lawyer that can handle all of that whilst also letting them know that I've cut contact with that side of the family. Yeah. I don't want them to ever have any comms directly with myself or my children. I need you to be the intermediary between everything that's happening.
It's a scary situation, mate.
But that's what it sounds like she needs. Really like they need to essentially disappear, but they do also like put that family in trust. Put the home in a trust for the kids. Do something, but just anything that means that they don't and they won't have to interact with that side of the family until they come of age.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Anyway, we have a top comment. Maybe the alcoholism of your partner was also rooted in this kind of behaviour of his family. I would always trust my gut with people. If it says no or unsafe, try your best to keep your kids and yourself safe. Yeah. Exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah. Mine is from OP Said Pod. Can't get her off my mind. My high school sweetheart and I have been broken up for close to 10 years. Both married and moved on with our lives. It had been some time since she was even a thought in my mind. Then I got a random check-in text from her and it changed everything. That text eventually turns into a meetup. We talked and actually did genuinely catch up with each other. But it was apparent the fire was still there.
Oh.
What ensued was an on and off passionate affair for a year. No intentions of leaving our marriage on either side, but a desire to still see each other. Eventually, smarter heads prevailed and we decided it's best to stop all communication and stay away from each other. Years have passed since then. Life is good. Still married, but I can't get her off my mind. Please help. How do I get her out of my head?
Is this a submission?
Somebody wrote in.
Man. Block her on absolutely everything. First of all, stop seeing her because that's always a reminder. Delete and block her on absolutely everything. And then stay committed to your wife. That's it. I have nothing else. Write down on paper how you feel about her maybe, and then throw it away. Just like your memories, okay? That's all I got.
Just like your memory, she said delete, block, delete.
Delete, block, write it, throw it away. If you want to stay committed to your marriage, you actually actively have to do the hard work and try to forget this individual. That's it. There is no magic cure. There's nothing that you can do other than try to erase that person from your mind. That's it. Otherwise, you're going to go back.
Do you know what? I don't have it, you know. When I say I don't have it, I honestly do not know what to say to you apart from divorce your partners, because it seems like you want to be together. Like, you can't get her out of your mind. The only way to be with her is to leave your partner and be with her. And if you can't do that, forget about her, like, completely. Like Melinda said, you're never going to forget about her though, by the way. You're always going to feel this way, especially that you guys had an affair. you're never going to feel really.
No, but over time, he can.
It will die down.
Yeah, it will die down.
But then, on her birthday, it will come up, and I don't think it will ever really die down. I don't think it will ever really.
Some things do. Like, do you know what? I read the other day, and it's absolutely true. And I think sometimes we forget this. Feelings are temporary. Like, do you get? Like, feelings are very temporary. Like, they feel so passionate. And when you're constantly reminded of them, it feels all-consuming.
Fair.
So that's why I'm saying you need to have no reminders. And that's why I say delete, block, maybe write down and then throw away. Just so that you can get all of your feelings out there and then try to remove them, or just not to get constant reminders. Honestly, this is a case of time.
Yeah.
If you feel so strongly, sadly, if you're not going to act on it, because it sounds like you don't want to, if you're not going to act on it and you're really committed to not acting on it, you just have to give it time. There is no quick fix. There isn't any solution, potion, no community out there that can help you. It's just time. Yeah. We've all gotten over, all of us, like generally most of us have gotten over someone that we thought we couldn't live without, generally, or someone that we deeply loved. And you know what? 5, 10, 50 months, days, years later, we're okay.
Yeah, but I think the difference between like with that is that it was finished.
Yeah,
like,
I know. But now that affair's finished. So we move on. Like, it's really straightforward. Do you want to commit to your marriage? If you do, yes, then you have to honestly delete everything that will remind you of her.
Yeah,
otherwise, you'll stay in it. You'll stay in it.
I don't know, man. When it comes to these,
I'm with Marie. Like, I really
don't know.
It's time. There's no quick fix.
I'm with Marie. I don't really have it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, like I'm not. I'm out of my depth.
I guess if I am gonna give you advice that can help, then the only thing that I could say is do marriage counselling and do more activities with your wife. Like, fall back in love with. Actually, I don't know that you've fallen out of love, because it's possible to have feelings for more than one person at the same time. But fall more in love with your wife by doing activities together, because what actually brings people together is shared memories.
Yeah,
like shared activities, shared memories. So maybe that's what it is. Spend more time with your wife, and then you can, I guess, she can come more in the fore and this other lady can get to the back somewhere. I'm not saying it very well, but I think create more great memories with your wife. That's the only thing that I can suggest, so that you think less about the other person. But we all know what it's like to think of somebody else, even when we're with somebody. So I do want to give you realistic advice. And I understand that whatever we say, I don't know. I think in the end, it's just for you to do what you're going to do. Like, we're not here advocating that you like, it would be nice to say, oh, do you know what, just divorce and go get back the other lady. But I don't think...
Who says she wants that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know that...
A lot of assumptions here.
Thank you. I don't know that she wants him back.
Both of them don't. It sounds like...
Yeah. Or maybe it works because you guys are still married and that's the little bit of fun. I don't know. So, but I can say, make more great memories with your wife. That's it. That's as much as I have.
I think that's really good advice.
First comment, you need therapy and you need to confess your cheating activities to your partner. Commenter 2, to be honest, you got to talk to someone about this. Preferably a therapist. It's not healthy you're dwelling on an old flame while married. You're playing with fire and risking a lot. You could damage not just your marriage, but also hurt everyone around you. Trust me, it's not worth it. Been there, done that, dealt with the fallout. Take it from me. Not a path you want to walk down. Best to sort your feelings out. Focus on your current relationship. You made a commitment. Got to honour that, homie. Just my 2 cents. Stay strong.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the last comment, especially him saying he has the experience of having him or
it's not worth it.
Yeah, has that experience. Somebody who has first-hand experience of basically having blown up their life. Take that advice.
It's true.
Take that advice. That's a solid one.
Go to a good one.
Thank you. Go talk to somebody but don't do it.
It's true.
Draw a line under it, like, as you have.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
I think therapy is really good advice as well. I think, Marie, you said do marriage counselling, but I
said marriage counselling.
Yeah, I think May said, but it's not for the both of them. This is about him. But it's just him by himself. He needs to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
He needs to understand and work through those emotions. If he now goes to a marriage counselling,
the wife will be like,
why are we here?
Why are we here?
It's true.
Literally, and now he's confessing to stuff, and it's just like, I didn't know we had issues or problems in a marriage. So no, this is definitely a one-man show.
I agree.
Okay, so my next dilemma is from relationship advice. I'm 35 female, seriously considering moving out with the kids because my husband, 36 male, wants mother-in-law to move in while she deals with cancer. I don't necessarily have anything negative with my husband himself, other than his mum. For many reasons, I cannot live with her under the same roof. I have suggested she get her cancer treatment for free in her home country or get an apartment near us, but mother-in-law wants to live with her son when she's sick. I have told him either he can move out and live with his mum or I can move out with the kids. The former makes the most sense because we have a 4-bedroom house, which would be excessive for just him and his mum. However, I cannot force him or his mum, so now I'm looking at a 2-bedroom apartment either for me or him. I have no plans to divorce him. He has been a good father and husband, but I am worried how this would affect our marriage long term. We do not know what stage she is in right now. How many of you have separated for logistical reasons and what was the outcome? We have an edit. Mother-in-law and I, despite being from the same country, have very different views on culture. I cannot stand living with her because she has shown a lack of respect for me, my boundaries, abusive to my toddler, and is a bad influence on my husband. I'll provide just one example of each, but I have hundreds of them. 1. She moved in the first time without my permission and under false pretenses and essentially took over my daughter's room. Literally sold her house and drop shipped a moving box and moved in before we could. 2. She yells all the time. Sometimes she just talks loud, but sometimes she's yelling at me. I don't know. She constantly tells me to cook and clean more because my husband does his fair share. But now my oldest is a toddler. I don't want to set an example of me taking such disrespect. 3. She locked my toddler, then 2 years old, who already has high anxiety, outside of our old apartment because he didn't obey her, which is why kids will not be with her unsupervised either. 4. She constantly talks at me like you can't get a word in. My husband deals with it by in one ear and out the other, basically not listening, but being around her reverts him to that habit, and he ends up not listening to her either.
Why? There's so many things to tackle here. Why do they not know what stage she's at? Because that doesn't make sense that she's going to be this big disrupting person and factor to their marriage, but they don't know what stage of cancer she's at. That's crazy, because there's different care requirements based on the different stages, so they should know that by now, right? So that means that she's purposely withheld that information. That's insane. Like, that's I don't know. Okay, the other thing is the more time you spend without someone is the more time you learn to live without them.
Yep.
So, bearing that in mind, if she moves out or he moves out, basically if you start living separate lives, there is no reason to come together again, because we don't know what stage of cancer she's at, don't know how extensive her treatment's going to be. We don't know, I mean, she moved in before and tried to never leave. She might pull the same stunt again. So everything combined means that this is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I think that what they really need is marriage counselling. It's crazy. It's like this one episode is just us constantly saying marriage counselling. But I think they need marriage counselling before any steps are taken, before anybody moves in or anybody moves out, before more apartments are looked at. Get marriage counselling and start discussing it with a third party. Get an outside perspective on like what you should be doing or whether everybody's even thinking straight. This is crazy. Even in the edit mentioning that there's abuse of a child, that in itself should be red flags for the son. Like the mum treating his child like that. I don't know. There's so many red flags, but marriage counselling should be step number one.
I think culture plays a massive part in here. Even though she said that, you know, they're from the same country, they're clearly brought up differently. There's certain things that...
It could just be a generational...
Yeah, like, because there's certain things that, let's say, like, my mum may do, and I'm like, Mum, we just don't tolerate that. And it could be seen like if someone else saw it, they'll be like, oh my God. So there's an element of that. But I think she is actually in between a rock and a hard place. It seems like you don't want to... her mother-in-law might need the care, but she needs to have her husband on their side. There seems to be a lot of solo decisions happening.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a decision that works for the both of them. Like, she's almost thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I cannot live with her.
Yeah.
I cannot do this. And you know what? You're well within your rights because she's abused your trust for long enough that you know you can't. But I don't know if the husband knows the extent of how she feels. So it, like you suggested, yes, going to marriage counselling would be great because then you can be both on the same page. I don't recommend living apart from your partner, especially when you have kids who are at such a young age. I think if you're both older and, you know, one lives in one, however you want to make your marriage work, fine. But when you have kids, I think it's really important that they're brought up with two parents in the house. And if there's one person that comes in the house and is abusive and basically doesn't mesh well with your family, it's worth talking to the only member of the family who wants her there, which is the husband, and trying to get him on your side. So yeah, marriage counselling will definitely be something that I would recommend for them as well.
I'm with you lot. I don't understand why separation is on the cards. Your mother's ill. You don't know how ill she is.
I call bullshit.
Why?
By the way.
Exactly.
I think she's lying. It was all a lie.
Thank you.
I think she just wants Beck in.
Thank you. Because, as I said, I really don't understand why separation is on the cards. The mother's ill. You don't understand or don't know how ill she is. Why does the son need to live with her? Like, why can he not go and visit her as and when she needs treatment, needs to go to the hospital, whatever it may be? Why can he not support her? Why does he have to live with her? That's why
it's very specific.
Yeah, but that's why I'm with you in terms of, like, she is, I guess, thinking too far in the future and trying to protect herself because she knows how bad her mother-in-law is. But a third person definitely needs to come in, intervene. But first and foremost, why is her husband not, like, aware of these things and, I guess, like, backing her? Why, when his mum put hands on the child, not hands on the child, sorry, the mother-in-law kicked their child out, locked them out of the old apartment, why has he not stood up? Why has he not said she can't do this, she can't do that she must not yell at his wife? And, like, why is her husband not preventing her from experiencing all of these things that are basically as a result of the mother-in-law? I don't get that.
Do you know what? When you were reading the story, one thing stood out to me is, and I think a lot of people do this, they separate. Like, she's like, my husband's a great person apart from his mum.
Yeah.
No, your husband's a terrible person for letting his mum treat you this way. But we tend to separate the two, because she's like, he's a great husband apart from his mum.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, well, he lets yourself and your children be abused by the person who's raised him, and he doesn't call her out on it. So that's an issue. And for sure, you should both drive yourself to the nearest marriage counsellor and talk through that as well, because he needs to see exactly where you stand with that. Because if she goes ahead and she's like, you know what, we've got a 4-bedroom house. I think it's crazy that she's trying to leave a 4-bedroom house to go anywhere. Like,
no,
like I said, a lot of solo decisions are being made, and it's like, whatever's going on in her mind, she needs to speak to her husband. You guys are a team. You have a family. Yes, she's his family, but she's not your in-house family.
And before that therapy session unfolds, let's get the medical details confirmed by a medical professional about the mum. Because you know what? Don't uproot and move yourself in. And I know it'll try and be on a permanent basis, by the way, and it's stage 1. We're not doing that. You're not disrupting my family. You're not disrupting my marriage. You're not disrupting my home environment. Let me get the medical details, because this is the thing that's currently disrupting the family, right? Let's get all of the facts in place, and then we're going to go. marriage counselling.
Absolutely. But step one is honestly for Opie and her husband to sit down and discuss what the options are. But essentially, Opie's husband has a family now, like with Opie and his kids. This is actually the priority. It's not his mum versus his family. But what he needs to understand is that it is never acceptable once you are a family to move out to live with your previous family. Like your immediate. Sorry, that's unacceptable. There is no reason why they should be separating. Remember, they have no marriage issues. So there's no reason why they should be separating. The mother, if she's ill, she needs support. That's it. That's about it, as in like visitations, going to check-ins. There's no reason why he needs to move out. And if he thinks it's actually a viable option for them in terms of either she or him move out, we need to discuss our marriage now. Because we're in it together for the long haul. Why are we separating when we don't have issues?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, because he is willing to basically let a third party, whether it's his mum, his sister, or whoever it may be, intervene and disrupt their marriage.
Yeah,
that's the issue here.
I don't understand this.
His mother is a threat.
I understand it from her point of view, but I've been in something similar whereby I thought my mum was sick, and when we were speaking about it, it was all about how do we navigate it as a couple
together.
Yeah. It was never I'm going to go and move with my mum.
What is that?
Everyone were looking at me like, we didn't.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. But with all of this information and just generally, like, why is separation a question?
Because she knows he will choose the mama.
That's crazy. Okay, we have a top comment. Unfortunately, your mother-in-law is putting you as well as your husband between a rock and a hard place. This should be something you and your husband tackle together as partners, and by allowing his mother to come between you two, he is saying she is a higher priority than you and your kids. You need to do what is best for your children, and given how his mother has behaved in the past, I don't see a way around this. But fuck no, do you move out? You need to make it clear that the apartment is where his mother and his mother only go. If he would like to go and crash there once in a while when taking care of her, that's on him. But fuck no, are you and your babies leaving your home? He isn't just her son. He is a husband and father now, and he needs to put on his big boy pants and figure out how to balance those roles in a way that is healthy for the people he's in charge of taking care of. His children. Sit him down, tell him you found an apartment where his mother can stay and he can go and visit her, but she is not moving in and not even to crash for the night at the family home. That is your family home. And if he moves her in, she is coming in between him and his family, his wife and his children. If he wants to take care of his mother while she is sick, that is admirable, but it cannot be at the cost of his family. And you need to be firm that you are not moving out, and she sure as fuck is not moving in.
Solid advice.
Clear.
Love it.
Yeah, like, what? That's crazy, no?
I don't know how that was ever even a solution.
An option.
My story comes from Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for getting my sister arrested after she destroyed my clothes?
Yeah.
So, I, 24 female, live with my younger sister, 21 female, while we both save up for our own places. It's been mostly fine, but lately, she's been acting super jealous and petty over the dumbest stuff, especially my clothes. I work a decent job and I like fashion. I save up and occasionally treat myself to nice things. Think Zara, Abercrombie, nothing outrageous, but definitely stuff she doesn't buy herself. She constantly borrows my clothes without asking. I've asked her to stop multiple times, even put a lock on my closet door, which she broke. Last week was the final straw. I came home from work and found a pile of clothes. My favourite leather jacket, some designer jeans, a silk dress I wore once, all shredded and slashed up on the floor. Like someone went full slasher movie on them. My heart dropped. I asked her what happened and she just smirked and said, maybe now you'll stop acting like you're better than everyone else.
Whoa.
I completely lost it. I called the police and filed a report. She thought I was bluffing until the cops actually showed up. I showed them the damage and the receipt for the clothes. I keep most of them for returns or resale, and the broken closet lock. She was arrested for property damage. Now, my parents are freaking out, saying I took it too far and that she's just a kid and Family shouldn't call the cops on each other. But I've had enough. This wasn't an accident or a dumb prank. This was straight up malicious. So, am I the arsehole for pressing charges against my own sister?
Press them harder.
No.
Continue.
Actions and consequences. She wasn't listening. You obviously needed to do something that would make her listen.
And tell your parents to take her back into their home.
Literally.
Yeah, not the arsehole at all. Like, she's
a hater. I'm sorry. Do you know what it comes down to? She's actually jealous of OP and the fact that she can afford designer pieces or just, those that cost a little bit more. And instead of her to humble herself and ask politely, can I borrow? Do you mind? She just takes them and she has a nasty attitude. So now you know what, bad girl, whatever you think you are, okay, here, do time. Here is whatever the consequences are. Whether you get a slap on the wrist, probation, a fine, whatever it may be, here you go, because you aren't listening to your sibling.
Yeah, not the asshole. I hate the sister. The entitlement is large. To break a lock on somebody's closet is disgusting behaviour.
It's so intentional as well.
And then the smirk, the response. And I also hate the family. This protection of the sister. Tell me who's the favourite without telling me who's the favourite. I don't like it. There's actions and there's consequences. And the consequences of her actions is that she must go to jail.
Yeah. But also, this whole, she's a child. She's 21.
She's 21. She's not a child.
She's not 13. She knew exactly what she was doing. So, yeah. Here are the consequences.
Top comment, not the arsehole. Tell your parents to get fucked. Your sister is a malicious, vindictive, entitled, and destructive adult who is now suffering the consequences of her actions. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I know. And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.
See y'all. See you next Monday at 5 UK time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of OP Said. I'm Marie.
And I'm May.
No, it's supposed to be Melinda.
I know. Melinda, stop it. Like every single week, every single time we're
clockwise.
Here. Melinda.
Clockwise.
Just like when we read, it goes in the same order. This is clockwise. You're next after Marie. You're always next after Marie.
That's not my clockwise.
And that's a problem.
And that's a big problem.
That's clockwise.
That's the universal and only clockwise.
No, not in the room. It's different here. But okay, cool.